That movie sucked.
I kind of liked it.
Movie Night Crew Network.
Hello and welcome to Content and Capable, a podcast all about following your passions while still feeling like a proper adult. My name's Sam and I'm your host.
This week I spoke to Christina and Sean from the Restricted Section and Movie Night crew all about their decision to remain childless and what it has meant for them in social situations and with their family. Welcome to Content and Capable, Tina and Sean. It's lovely to have you on.
Hello.
It's great to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very weird. I think, Tina, the last time I had you on, we were like maybe a couple months in, and then I had you on for the Wilding Press one as well, and it was just, I don't know, each time it feels like everyone's in like a transition period of their lives, and they've gone from one thing to another. You're like, what's happening? You know, what's changing? Has there been anything new since we last spoke?
Well, the Restricted Section wrapped up Goblet of Fire.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that wrap-up episode. I know that there is a sneaky email in there that is quite unhinged.
I'm very excited for that email as well. Also, I got a job slinging beers at a local brewery.
You can do the full barmaid impression then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I also got a short story published, so I've been doing exciting things.
Kicking goals.
Very
and Sean,
transitional.
Sean, for those who may not know you, who are you? Why are you here?
So I'm married to Christina, and I think that's going to be topical for today's discussion.
Yes, a little bit topical. And where might people have heard you outside of right here now?
I've assisted with the Restricted Section, and I think I've been on a couple other podcasts in that network.
You are regularly on the Movie Night crew.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
I feel like we always forget that the Movie Night crew exists.
We're just all on it, so it's like, well, obviously.
Yeah. Obviously it's there, you know. Obviously, poor Jason has to edit the whole thing of us screaming at each other.
It's a great podcast, and Sean makes routine appearances, and you've also guested on the Restricted Section, and you've guested on My Cabbages.
Yes.
Ah. See, I'm behind on My Cabbages. I need to catch up with that.
They needed Sean to come on to talk about the mechanics of the drill.
Ah, yes. Yep. Stuff that us dumb artists have no idea about. Tina and Sean, how did you guys meet?
Aw.
Tacos.
Yeah, it was Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, we had a mutual friend who would go to these really cheap taco nights. And
like college cheap, not like these days. No, $2. These were 75-cent tacos.
And I feel like I had been certain nights that Tina hadn't been, and she had been certain nights that I hadn't been. And one night we both went on the same night, and we hit it off right away, and then we got married.
He dared me to take a tequila shot, which is, I mean, obviously he already paid for it. Like, obviously, I'm gonna take that tequila shot.
Tequila is a bit of a mess. Like, I don't know. Some people have very strong opinions about it. I don't think I've ever taken a tequila shot.
I've taken probably more tequila shots than any other kind of liquor.
Or no, actually, maybe I did take a tequila shot. But I don't think I took it properly. I think it was just straight. There was no salt or lime.
Yeah, that's why it's fun. It's like a process. Yeah. And you gotta, depending on...
Oh, go ahead.
Depending on how drunk you are, like it can get more difficult to remember that process, like the order that you have to do it in.
Yeah.
It's like salt and the lime and then the tequila.
I never do the salt because I have hypertension. So for me, it's just a lime and it's very easy.
Yeah. No, I think my friends did it in the wrong order, but one of them had peer pressured them into the wrong order. So when they did it, and then the person who like peer pressured turned around and goes, "I think we did it in the wrong order," and the other person turns around and goes, "Nah, shit." I'm like, oh, here we go. Anyway, so you met, you ate tacos, you drank tequila, you got married because. All of it's that simple. Did you ever consider having kids? Was that ever a discussion that you guys had together before you got married?
Yeah.
Sean,
We did. We initially thought that. Yeah, I'm just like nodding over here, thinking that Christina was gonna fill in. Yeah.
I'm
So
just being quiet unless you tap me in when you need me.
we talked early on in our relationship, and I think for a brief period we did want kids, and then we kind of like, we went back and forth on it, and eventually we kind of settled on no kids for now, and then as time went on, kind of like more solidified that. So as
Yeah,
of
it
right now,
escalated.
we're in the no kids camp.
Yeah. And what was and I hate forcing people to justify their decisions, but
Oh,
what
it's
was
so
the
okay.
reasoning behind that? Yeah.
The thing is, so Sean and I have this like running joke where we joke like we have a running pro and cons list for why you might want children.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, our cons list is just extremely long. But every once in a while, it's like we're like driving. We're like, oh my God, Sean, look at that kid mowing the grass. Okay, well, that's a pro for having a kid because like they could mow our grass for us.
Child labor goes in the pro column.
Child labor does go in the pro column, and as an older sibling, child labor is also a pro of having younger siblings. So, it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. Or even like, I was just saying before we started recording, my parents have gone away for the week, and my brothers, who are over the age of 18 and are responsible adults, are like looking after all the younger kids, and the babies have gone with mum and dad, but like all the school age kids they're looking after this week, and it's fascinating because like you would never expect. Obviously, we have a large enough family to do that, but like you never expect. When you have kids, one day they'll look after my younger siblings, their younger siblings, while we get to go on a lovely holiday to a fancy hotel, on the other side of the country. I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm. I've done a lot of free babysitting in my day too, for the younger.
Yeah,
sibs.
did that experience of babysitting like inform that opinion?
I don't know. I think that like. Sean, I don't think Sean's done any babysitting, but I've done like a shit ton of babysitting in my life, including a lot for my two younger brothers when I was a kid. And I just feel like the fact that I've spent so much time with kids and I'm really good at being with kids actually gives me more confidence in knowing that I don't want kids. Like I'm so okay just like knowing them and hanging out with them. I don't need my own necessally.
Yeah, you can just hand the child back to the parent and go, hey, here, there you go.
Because, like, that's something that, like, especially, like, the women in my family, when they're, trying to be like, you need kid. Like, the only thing I want before I die is a great grandbaby. And it's like, well, you have to talk to somebody else about that. But they're all always like, oh, my God, you'd make such a great mother. And I'm like, oh, my God, I completely agree. But that's not really, like, what it's about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Like, you don't need... Like, you could be a great mother, but also not have kids. Like, it's not required.
Yeah, I'm a great mother, like, to my friends and my cats.
I was about to say the cats are your children, right?
Yeah. Oh, Penny, hey. She's sitting right here.
I was about to say, yeah, I was Penny in the background.
No,
like,
actually, that's Dante in the background and Penny's in the window. That's so funny.
It's surrounded by cats. It's great. So when you made that decision, did you, not that you have to like tell anyone, but did you decide that you were going to tell certain people who may have been expecting that out of you guys?
Yeah, we don't really like love telling, especially like our family, our business.
Yeah. I was saying to a friend of mine the other night, I said, all people like hide things from their parents. That's totally fine. You've just got to make the decision at some stage to inform them, so that they're not like, I don't know, keeping a secret from them for 10 years or something stupid like that. I have a friend of mine who went on a date, and she was like, I didn't tell my mum that I went on a date because, like, why would I? I was like, yeah, totally. Like, why would you? It's decisions and things like that. You don't need to justify to your parents. I don't think it's not something. But like, have they like been making? Obviously, you did mention before there was some people have been asking for example great grandparents. Have you ever like sat them down and gone, actually, you're not going to get that out of us, or you just laugh it off?
For me personally, it's definitely come up with my family before. My dad doesn't give a shit what I do, but it's really like my mom and my grandma. I think it's just like I birthed you, and then like I birthed you, and like now it's your turn. Like we've given you this legacy, and like you have to keep adding to the family chain.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like a source of contention in the family, but I think by now they've learned like not really to talk about it. I mean, my grandma's really old, and she's like, give me a great grandbaby right now. And I'm like, I'm not the one. I have older cousins. You need to turn to someone else.
Yeah, go speak to someone who's decided to have a baby.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've laughed it off several times with my family. But after the first few times, even though you are kind of like joking, you're like, yeah, like maybe later. Then eventually they kind of get the picture. At least that's how I kind of went about it, like with my family. Because I think some people, it's like absolutely expected of them, and like they'll even talk about it like early on in your life. You know, if you're in high school, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's just such a given. Like it's just like this is the path of life.
Yeah, but
it's so fascinating though, because it's like I don't have the same. There's never that same implied thing here in my, like, at least from what I've observed, like, it's not, there's no, you better give me babies, or I want a grandchild, or I want a great-grandchild. I've never seen that conversation happen.
Maybe that's because your family's so big that your parents know they're getting grandkids.
Well, yeah, maybe. But also at the same time, like, I'm trying to think, there's, you know, my aunt, my uncle are childless by choice. Admittedly, they're a little older, and they got married a lot older than the rest of their siblings. But at the same time, it was never going to be. In fact, I think I asked the question of, are my aunt and uncle going to have children? My mother had to explain to me that no, they're not going to have children. And that was just something that was like, yep, that's totally fine, because it's their decision. You know, you don't have to, like, there was no force of having children, whereas it felt like that, for you guys at least, it was like this, the implicit pressure to, you know, produce a child, almost like a required task of being an adult.
Child.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good thing on Sean's side of the family is that his sister is pregnant with the first, like, grandkid on that side of the family, so that's good.
Totally takes the spotlight off of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, look how much they have their act together. But I'm so excited to be an aunt. That's like the coolest thing I can imagine. Like, I'm so excited for Sean's sister to have her baby. And I'm like, we got to go to Christmas with your dad's family. Sorry, there's a big loud car driving by. Because every year it's like, oh my God, whose family do we go with? Because we're both children of divorce. But I'm like, we have to go where the baby is, because I'm going to be best friends with that baby.
Oh yeah, like that's priority number one, right? Go and see the baby. Which reminds me of that Werner Herzog audio of like, let me see the baby. And it's like, you know, I don't like, it frustrates me that like there is that pressure that, you know, you guys have to have a baby. Have you like ever like cracked, I want to say crack the shit, so I feel like it's a very Australian term.
Yeah, I've never heard that in my life.
Where you just like turn around and like almost lose your temper and go, I am like, can't you see I'm not having a child, you know? Stop making me, you know, feel guilty for this or something.
I haven't.
Yeah, well, Sean's family just doesn't really, I don't think they care anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, my grandma, I'm like, I'm not giving you. She's like, all I want is a great grandbaby, and I'm like, I'm not the one. This is not. I just tell her that I'm like, I'm not. It's not like a fight or anything. It's really like my mom that is like, she's like very deeply hurt by this choice, like personally, of mine to not have a kid, and like she has learned not to talk about it to me. So I've never really had to like confront her in any big way. Because I think I've made it like extremely clear that like this conversation is not Like, you're not allowed to have this conversation with me anymore, pretty much.
Yeah. I don't know. It's such a hard, like, boundary to draw because the conversation is closed. It's your decision. It's a very private decision. You know, no one else really should be involved.
Yeah.
But, like, at the same time, you're like, oh, why is this conversation still happening? Why other people get the opportunity to have a say on your, almost like the whole abortion thing. It's like your body. You get to choose what you do.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot to say at the top of the episode that we scheduled this episode like a really long time ago before the Supreme Court's overturning of Roe versus Wade. Supposedly, a little sneak peek there getting leaked. It just happened to be really good timing with this episode.
And for anyone out there who is, you know, worried about that stuff, I can't even imagine, you know, it's such a private decision that these big proponents of small government, big proponents of, you know, minimal oversight of the people have decided that they're going to take control over these people's bodies. It's like, that's not how this works. That's never been how this works.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And I suppose it goes to it like because I asked someone the other day, I said, it's such a political thing in the US that, you know, the access to abortion. It's not a huge political thing here in Australia. In fact, the more political thing is like euthanasia, which is a whole other, you know, dying with dignity is a whole other conversation that people have.
Wow.
And it's a whole other debate that I don't think should be lumped in with access to abortion. And it's very fascinating to see that is just not something that we discuss here in Australia. It's given that, you know, you should have access to, you know, an abortion if you need to. And, you know, it's not super huge access, but if you do need to get one safely, do need to get one, and there is a safe place to go and get one. Mm-hmm. And I suppose it goes back to this, you know, conversation we're having about being childless by choice, where, you know, you go, where, you know, where people are pressuring you into making a decision that it fits their worldview rather than what's best for you guys. And I don't know. It's very interesting as an outsider as well to watch this all unfold and go, like, why? Like, I even, like, with climate change, I was chatting to some politicians. We're still, I think, when this episode comes out, there's still a week to go until the Australian election comes and goes. And I was chatting to these politicians about climate change, and I said to them, you know, in the UK, it's not a political issue. They have a conservative government, and, you know, theoretically, that you'd think they'd be against climate change, but they aren't. They're, you know, putting in all this new technology and infrastructure to protect people from climate change, whereas, you know, here in Australia, it's become this huge political issue. And it's so interesting to see, you know, in these, what we call almost very homogenous cultures, you know, Australia, the US, and the UK, there are such differences about our approaches to these things, and it reflects into our day-to-day lives.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I didn't really realize that there was like a difference in I mean, it makes sense, obviously, that different countries have different political values, but it's wild to me that some places climate change like isn't debated, or like abortion isn't being hotly debated. It is really wild to like watch people talk about it. Like there's like anything to say about it other than that it's like a health service and we just need it. Like, what the fuck? How is there even a conversation?
It almost feels like you're watching some satirical comedy or something.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. And so, you know, when you guys did finalize on the decision to have settled at the moment on the decision not to have children, not to say that minds may change, not to say that you guys have to change your minds, but have you ever, like, looked around? Obviously, you joked about your pros and cons list, but have you ever looked around and gone, it almost feels like society's forcing us to do it? I know that, like, some of your friends are pregnant or having kids, and I don't know. I know that it's a big thing here in Australia when your friends start to either getting married or having kids and starting families. you turn around and you go, oh, I feel like I should be doing that as well. Has that ever been like an implied pressure societally?
I think we're right on the cusp of that, because we just went, or are in the midst of, I guess you could call like wedding season, or like an extended wedding season, where all of our friends are getting married. We were one of the first to get married.
Yeah,
so as you can imagine, not a lot of our friends have had babies as of yet. I think just a couple of our friends have had babies. One's that's like not near us, and then one is currently pregnant that lives nearby. So like I guess you could say, like, once everybody starts getting pregnant, there's probably that unspoken thing of like, well, like, we either are or we aren't going to join that pack, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, the fact that we've delayed having, like, our friend group as a whole has delayed having children. We're all, like, 30 now. We've delayed getting married and having children, at least from, like, I think what I expected when I was younger. And so, yeah, like, a lot of our friends are going to start having kids soon because they're getting married and because there's, like, a biological, like, timeline. You gotta meet it. And so, but we like, you know, we still kind of, like, get drunk together and stuff and, like, stay up late and do dumb shit and like, I guess I should say fun shit. Dumb shit's not really the right word. And, like, definitely when our friends start really having kids, that, like, that whole dynamic of our friendship is gonna change, and it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
It costs them $15 an hour minimum in babysitting to come hang out with us.
And I suppose that's, like, the weird part of it is that now that there's like, it's normally there's low social costs when you're, you know, not either romantically engaged with someone or even have children. But, like, there is the like, societal costs become even, and now physical costs become even higher, you know, more people turning up, and that's totally fine. It's not the hardest thing in the world to organize, but you do turn around and you go, oh, I do need to, like, now start considering other people's parts of their lives that, you know, they've got to hire a babysitter or, you know, organize someone to watch the kids. Not that babysitters, and I'll say this, babysitters aren't the only option. I'm aware of, I've done babysitting. I know that my parents just consistently ring in favors. It's just this rolling circle of favors.
Oh, I love that.
But yeah, it's fascinating. I find it so interesting that it is something that you never really have to consider, because it is just a very, I don't know, to me it's a very normal part of having children is the babysitting stuff, but it becomes that societal cost for people who don't have children. Sorry, that was a bit of a rant.
That is so okay.
And I don't know, you're talking about being like the cool aunt, or, you know, or I was imagining that because I feel like you're my cool aunt, Christine.
Yes.
But would that do you think that, you know, your friends would be, because you guys have been such good friends for such a long time, would be way more open about, you know, oh, we'll just, you know, hang out with the kids. We won't get as crazy, but, you know, we'll just hang out with all the kids.
Yeah.
Hanging around and creating a ruckus.
I'm sure there will be a lot of baby hanging. And I keep telling Sean, because Sean really, not to, like, tattle on you, and then I'm going to tattle on you, but Sean's pretty much never hung out with babies ever in his life. Have you ever even held one baby, Sean?
Oh, I'm sure I have.
Well, probably your sister when she was born.
Yeah.
They put you in the chair and they put the baby in your lap and they take a picture and they're like, oh, he loves her.
Oh,
in the last 5 years, probably no.
So I don't remember where I was going with this. I was just like, Sean's never touched a baby. Oh, no, because I keep telling him, I'm like, Sean, when our friends have babies, we're going to hang out with those babies. Like, babies are so fucking funny. They're like the funniest people on earth. They're so fun to hang out with. It's just like
100%.
It's just like the maintenance of the child is not. So we just give the kid back and we're like, oh, here.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's such a fascinating thing, especially for people who haven't like interacted with babies very much. Like, I'm so not to brag, but like I am just so used to just having so much baby stuff around me. Like, even like I don't live with my parents anymore, but there is like baby. Like, this house is mostly baby proofed. Not that I did it on purpose, but it's like,
just how you live your life.
The glass goes in the high cupboards, the stuff in the low cupboards is like stuff that the baby is not going to kill themselves with.
Right.
Don't leave like, simple things. And it's not like petty stuff, but like not leaving expensive stuff on the floor.
Right.
Or, closing doors to rooms you don't want people to go in.
Mm-hmm.
And like all those random things that just happens like automatically for me. And I have people who turn around and go, your place is immaculate. And I go, yeah, no, it's a dump. But thanks for the compliment. And it's just like a whole kind of like different aspect of like, different approach to it. Yeah.
See, that's a big thing for us is our house is extremely not baby proof. Like no children.
But I don't know. I find it very, very fascinating because, choosing not to have children, it means that, the setup you guys will have will be completely different to the setup any of your childbearing parents would have. No, any parents with kids. I don't know. It's, I don't know. I would be so curious to see the difference because I've never really seen that side by side.
Let's just say there's like so many cords everywhere in this house.
Mine are all hidden behind desks and on top of tables.
We have way too many cords for that.
So, Christina, you did mention that, there was that whole ticking time bomb kind of aspect to, everyone having children and, getting things done. Have you ever felt the pressure to, not engage, but satisfy that urge to do things by the timer, or it's just you've been like the decision and you've just run with the decision, never had to think about it?
I mean, my biological clock is definitely like scary. Like having it is scary because I'm in my early 30s, so it's like you like kind of have to decide like at a certain age you're like we have to figure it out. Like there's no just like, oh, we'll see when you get old enough. It's like you have to fucking pick one. And so I've never really felt pressure to like have kids. Like it doesn't knowing that my womb is drying inside of me doesn't make me feel like I need kids, but like it makes me be like, okay, well, this is my decision and I just have to fucking commit to it.
I know that there are plenty of, alternatives and other options. Have you ever like considered them, getting a child at lawn mowing age, adopting or fostering? Like, I know you do that with cats a lot more, but is that something you've ever considered, or is that just like on the same lines as no children?
I've definitely considered becoming a foster parent before, like a really long time ago in college. My friend Alexis and I always wanted to like start a foster home together, and I just really think that more women should platonically marry their best friends. But Sean and I, have pretty much gone wholeheartedly headfirst into the cat situation.
Yeah, and 100%. And do you ever feel like that's just like, yeah, we've got cats, we don't need kids?
Yeah. Yeah, we had 2 cats to start off with, and then we accidentally happened upon 2 more cats, and we're like, wow,
fails.
that's enough of like any kind of living being in this house.
Yeah, any living creature. It really doesn't matter What kind of creature? And our friends keep like very tactfully being like, hey, hey, your cats are so cute, but like you get that 4 is the hard limit, right? Like my brother said it to me yesterday. He was like, that's way too much, right?
Yeah.
And we do. So yeah, our house feels full of like love and life, and I really think it's comparable. And like Sean and I do. I mean, I really understand that this isn't the same thing, and like parents of actual children won't love this, but like we really do pay as much attention to our cats as we would ever want to give to a human child.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there are people who just don't have the capacity to give as much attention to a human child as is required. Children are fucking demanding,
and Sean and I like can't get a dog. We're like, dogs are too needy. So like, no, we're not gonna have a human infant.
Yeah, it's just, and that is. Not that I have to approve it, but like that is totally fine. Like, people do not need to, turn around and go, I don't want to have a child, but I'm not going to have, anything, or I've got a cat, so therefore I should have a child. They're equivalent of each other. They're not the same thing.
Definitely not.
The cats will just go, yeah, nah. You feed us, you house us, whatever, fuck off. And you know what? To be honest, the baby's like that for about the first, I don't know, a year and a half, and then they start hugging you and saying very cute things, and then it becomes almost worth it.
Aww.
Usually the hugging and the I love yous come paired with terrible messes and horrible things that they've done to wreck half the house.
I was babysitting today, and within the first 2 minutes of me getting there, she's like probably 10 months old. I texted Sean. I had only been there for 5 minutes, and I was like, I've already cleaned up one blowout diaper, dude. I've only been here 5 fucking minutes on a Monday morning.
It's the thing, like, children are disgusting, and not everyone can handle that. That's like, it is disgusting. The horror stories that I have of children doing disgusting things to clothing, carpets, roofs, fans, my mother's hair.
Oh my god. You said roofs, and I was like, what? And then I was like, oh, like ceilings. And I remembered that story you told me about how you got like ketchup on your mom's ceiling, Sean, because you like exploded it. Is that right? Was it ketchup?
Yeah, I was trying to, like, being stupid, trying to, like, swing it around like a windmill to, like, get all the ketchup to, like, the top of the cap. But the cap was open, and I didn't know, and it just, like, flung out onto the ceiling.
That's the thing, like, there are just, like, those dumb moments that you have, and your parents are like, I just have to keep a straight face. I have to, I just kind of have to keep carrying on. I can't lose my shit here.
However dumb your kid is, that is your responsibility. So you mentioned, oh, sorry, you go ahead.
No. I was just thinking the worst mess, the ceiling involved mess, and fan actually, and floor, and the whole room. I think the whole room was written
When the
off.
ceiling fan gets involved, it's everywhere.
It involved a wet nappy, I think 2 actually, and it just was everywhere. I think my mother walked into the room. It was terrible.
Oh my god.
My mother walked into the room and goes, I can't deal with this shit anymore. And just walked out.
So you mentioned that children are disgusting, and it's like, just to be clear, I really do love children, but the baby I was babysitting today did blow an entire snot rocket all over my kneecap. So, like, they're objectively disgusting. And that is, like, one of the reasons that Sean and I have chosen not to have kids. And there's, like kind of a couple big reasons. Do you want to talk about those a little bit? Because I think I think they're, like, common reasons that people our age don't want kids.
It's interesting. Like, I've never really had to have this discussion. So, yeah, what are those core reasons?
I think... And Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think literally the biggest reason for both of us is financial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just not something that we can support right now.
But like even more
Financially.
than that, Sean, like philosophically, it's just not like it's just like such a huge investment in something that like frankly like isn't that important to us. Like economically speaking, it's just like a nightmare burden.
It is a huge investment, and like it also, not to compare it to say Netflix, but there are different like levels you can invest. Like my parents spend way more money on us kids than I think most parents would, but also at the same time, you know, there was a period of time where there was no money. I don't know why my parents thought that they were in a financial situation to have a child, but when they had me, they didn't have any money. And it does kind of like hamper on being able to live the rest of your life as well. Like, there were periods of time where we just wouldn't see Dad. And that is such a hard thing, a hard decision to make. And I don't wish it upon anyone, because if you're not in a financial position, it's just really, really hard.
Yeah, I was in a very similar situation because, you know, I was the first kid also. And when I was born, my parents were very, like, not financially well off at all. And my dad worked a fuck ton. And, like, that's like, another thing that Sean and I aren't really interested in is, like, neither one of us is going to stay at home with a kid. And, like, childcare is so prohibitively expensive. Like, I babysit for my next door neighbor. I keep mentioning that, but what I've been doing lately. And like my babysitting rate, the amount of money that I feel like I deserve to get paid to work is how much they have to pay while they're earning money at work for me to even be there taking care of their kid. If I was paying for childcare right now, it would be 100% of the money I'm earning. Like, it's just so it's wild how much childcare costs.
Oh, it's terrible, because like even in Australia, where we theoretically have these social support systems that are supposed to mean that people can pay for childcare and get back to work if they want to, it's so prohibitively expensive, as you said. It basically becomes impossible, and especially when my mum was having, you know, us older kids, mum was not in a position to send us to childcare. Mm-hmm. No government rebates would have, or government money would have solved that issue. It just wasn't. She was not in a position to do that. Mm-hmm. And it's terrible, because you do have, like, there are people out there who just have to make a decision of who's staying home and who's going to, you know, put either hold or, you know, give up their career to look after the child that they've just decided to have. And even on top of that, in the US healthcare system, it's so expensive to just have a child.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for sure. Sean and I, since we've been together, have had like the most minor of hospitalizations for like incredibly trivial things. And those are like life-ruining expenses without a baby, without any complications. Just, it's scary.
It's terrible. Yeah. What was the other reasons?
Do you have any, Sean? Any that we haven't really touched on yet?
Yeah, I mean, anytime someone asks me why don't I want kids, it's like my answer is always going to be like, well, because I'm selfish. But then like I elaborate on that, and I'm like, I don't want to give up all of the time that I have, and you know, all of the travel plans, and like you said, pretty much once you have a kid, like your kid is your life. You know, you put any goals that you have on hold. You put any like travel plans on hold, especially if you're not in a financial position to be able to immediately support that kid and still do what you planned to do originally, unless it's like part of your plan. But also just like the stress factor. So like with cats, for instance, like you don't have to come home and then immediately give them attention or you know, feed them, take care of them. Like there's no like obligation where I've had a really rough day at work. I absolutely don't have the battery to just like continue going on. But like I recognize that up front. So, you know, I feel like it's, at least for me, like that's the forward looking part of me where it's like
Right.
I don't feel like I could give them the attention or the care that they would deserve, just because I wouldn't be fully in it, because I do deplete relatively easily. And
Yeah.
I was
when
trying to figure out how to say that nicely, and here's how I'd phrased it in my head, because I was going to say it next. I was going to say he's a Taurus and an introvert, so he loves his self-care time. That's nice, right?
It's 100% true. Like, if you don't have, like, even myself, although I do way too much already, if I had to put in extra energy for someone else, I think I would kind of burn out way quicker, because I have to come home and put that energy. It's part of the reason why I haven't been super interested in dating.
That makes
But
sense.
it's also part of the reason, like, family and travel are so important to me that I would much prefer to be traveling or going and visiting family or doing things with family than, laying down roots and putting myself somewhere permanently and not being able to, pick up and go wherever I want.
Yeah. Yeah, the reality is just that, like, Sean and I have, like, a pretty cool life planned out. Like, we have a pretty similar idea of, like, exactly what we want to be doing. And, like, like, a kid just doesn't make any of the rest of our goals any easier. And Sean, as he mentioned, he works really, really, really hard at his job, and he needs a lot of, like, self-care time. And I, on the flip side, I literally, and I do so many projects, like, all the time. I have so many side projects that mean so much to me, and I still have to earn money. And like a kid, I would have to sacrifice some of my creative projects to make room for anything, like if I add anything new to my life. And I'm not really willing to do that.
It is really hard, like, when obviously the movie night crew and Wilding Press and now your new job and every other creative project that anyone does takes up, a portion of your energy, and it's very hard to then justify pouring energy into someone else when you're pouring so much energy into other things around you that you've either created or are pursuing.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think, Sean, did you have any other reasons to add to our big reasons? Because my last one I don't think really applies to you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think I have much to add, because we went over most of the selfish things. Okay, I do have one. I do have one to add, and I think that a lot of people who are deciding not to have kids can probably relate, and it may be a little bit of an oversimplification, but coming from a broken family and being a millennial, and seeing like the way that the world is, I know that things are different than they were 20, 40, 60 years ago, and things are just kind of going downhill a little bit, and it doesn't seem like a good time in general to be like bringing another person onto this earth, and the whole, I think, like,
every single year that human civilization exists, it becomes less important to reproduce.
Yeah, definitely, because there's just more and more of us. But yeah, it is a fascinating kind of aspect. I remember I was watching an episode of an Australian TV program called Q&A, where you ask experts in particular fields about stuff, and because of the election it was very politics based, and the first question was a 20-year-old, so someone my age, just they were doing it around the corner from where I live, and she asked, why should I continue caring, why should I be continuing pursuing things, and I was like, wow, I feel that, because as every year goes by, you go, what's the point in, making a huge investment in something when everything is so volatile and changes, and, your situation may be 1,000 times different than it was last year, just based on a few small things that have changed.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Sean, I interrupted you. Did you want to finish your thought?
No, that was pretty much it. Like, overpopulation. Like, I think that sums it up.
Remember how I said that I had one last reason why I didn't want children, and I didn't think that you cared that much about it. But I was gonna say climate change was like I didn't realize that you cared about that very much, Sean. So it's cool. not like as an individual, but like in terms of like reasons for not wanting children. Like to me, that's the one that like kind of plagues me every day. Is like how the fuck am I gonna bring an additional human being onto this planet that is just so fucked up right now. So, Sean, I love you. We have all the same reasons for everything.
And it is such a important thing, like beyond overpopulation, but climate change as well. You know, having a baby is so resource intensive, and looking after a child is so resource intensive that, you know, sometimes, you know, there are families out there who economies of scale mean that they, you know, per child it's a lower footprint. My mum always goes, I was always environmentally friendly. We always were recycling things and upcycling clothes and things like that, because we just didn't. Because there's just so many of you that I can't afford to buy everything brand new.
Yeah.
But like, you know, having your first child, or, you know, having a child in general, especially in, you know, societies that do demand a very maximalist culture, you know, have everything, it becomes almost quite wasteful, and you feel really, really bad or guilty for bringing a child into the world, for them to A, consume so much resources, but then B, be faced with such a climate emergency that no one really knows how they're going to solve at the moment, because there is such a stalling on fixing it, and no incentive to go out there and try to fix it as much as possible.
Definitely the best way to reduce your carbon footprint, or like the carbon footprint of humanity, is to not reproduce.
And it's hard for some people because they do want to, but then they look at, you know, the future, or look at their family and go, you know, look at us in 50 years' time. You know, do we have a future? Is there going to be, you know, food and resources left for us to survive? And it's such a valid, you know, worry. And not to leave it on such a downer, but it is, you know, I think that there are, you know, this is just one way that you can make a difference, you know, by just choosing not to get involved in a structure of society that often does not lead with the ends that you hope it is going to end with.
Yeah. The way I see it is that if people want kids but they're worried about the environment, just have the fucking kids, because we're all, I mean, it's not going good. Like, humanity's not going good. So just have the fucking kid if you want a kid.
Or, you know, if you are open to adoption.
Yes, thank you so much, Sean. That is the right answer.
You can literally make the world a better place by adopting.
Oh, yeah.
Or fostering as well. I know that foster organizations are always looking for more families to help out these children, and more good, positive environments for these children who are often in terrible situations to go to. But yeah, time to move things on to a bit more of a positive note. Tina and Sean, where can people find you on the internet?
Well, I just wanted to, before we sign off, if you don't mind, I want to end on a bit of a more positive note. So I first want to do like a disclaimer. In case we haven't made it obvious in this episode, like Sean and I are not like anti-baby. It's like, this is an us thing, and we love and respect everyone else's decisions. And as we mentioned, some of our friends are expecting babies, or I have a cool baby friend who lives next door, and like, we're very excited about that. And like, if that's right for them, then that's awesome. Like, our friend Brooke is pregnant right now, and her and Mike have been extremely excited about that for a long time. And like, that's just the most perfect couple to give a baby to, you know? And
it's exciting to have a baby in your life as well. Like, beyond, you know, the selfish social repercussions, it is very exciting to have a baby and around and see a baby and watch someone grow and develop so rapidly. It's very cute.
Yeah, it's like a little science experiment. It's like, oh my god, you do that now? That's so cool. Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to say, just to like end this on a positive note, is like we're talking about being like childless by choice, and like, you know, I think that people talk about like you're not having kids, like, oh my god, like you don't even have kids, but like Sean and I just don't. It all of these like negative words, like we're missing something, but Sean and I like really don't feel like we're missing anything. Like we really, I'm just putting words in Sean's mouth, but like we really feel like a complete family, just us and our cats and our friends, you know, like we have like our whole family right here and we love it. And this is just what works for us, and everybody's family looks different.
Yeah, I definitely think that, especially when we're emphasizing more and more found family as well, or, you know, other ways to have families that are, you know, you don't have to have children, and you're not missing out when you don't have children. You can still have children in your life, but you don't need to give birth to a child, or you know, have a child living in your house. You can experience children and enjoy and love and find amazing positivity out of a child without them being in your house 24/7.
Yeah. Cheers to me and Sean becoming aunt and uncle this year.
Yes, cool aunt and uncle.
Yeah.
I won't say anything more than that, but I can definitely imagine Sean and Tina picking up their niece or nephew and from school and going, okay, where are we going? We've got to go and do something fun before your parents get home.
Yeah, well, me and Haley keep talking about Brooke's kid and about like we're gonna have to make sure that kid gets exposed to counterculture. Like we're gonna have to teach him some stuff. So
they'll be wearing Doc Martens by the age of 3.
Yeah. Haley has anything to say about it. All right,
awesome.
I'm ready for plugs if you're ready.
Yeah. Well, where can people find you guys on the internet?
Sean, do you want to go first and plug Movie Night Crew, the podcast you appear on regularly?
The podcast that I co-host, Movie Night Crew. No, I don't co-host, but there's so many podcasts on this network. Go check out Movie Night Crew. That's one of my faves.
That's the only one he ever listens to. Do you want people to follow your socials, Sean?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I don't post enough for it to be worth following.
Yeah, if you need to talk to Sean, you can hit me up. And go ahead.
I was about to say, you know, Sean's everywhere. I'm sure he'll get a message, even by carrier pigeon.
I'll find you. If you think that you want to get in touch with me, don't worry. Just think my name.
This is how you get Sean when you need him. Sean! That's the call. He loves when
I'll make sure I remember that for next time I visit. Awesome. Well, Tina, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Christina Con. You can follow me on Instagram at Christina the Con. You can follow me on TikTok at Sprouts Private Stash. And you can also listen to my podcast, The Restricted Section, if you haven't already. New episodes every Wednesday, except we just finished Goblet of Fire, so we're only doing bi-weekly episodes for the summer until we come back at the beginning of September for Order of the Phoenix.
Back at Hogwarts again. Yeah, well, you can find me at sam.the.journalist on Instagram and on TikTok, and samobjournalist on Twitter. Is there anything that you guys want to plug? Anything that you've been reading, watching, playing, listening to?
Sean just has a cat. He's just holding up a cat. That's not a plug, Sean.
We need to get Pepper an Instagram.
Pepper's on new drugs, so she's feeling herself lately. I'll plug I'll plug I just discovered this show. Hold on, I have to Google what it is. Obama National Park show. Obama narrates a Netflix docuseries called Our Great National Parks about the national parks from all over the world, and it's extremely cool, and his voice is very good for that specifically.
For a second there, I thought it was like something Parks and Rec-esque.
No,
I was
no.
like, ooh, that would have been hilarious to have Obama in Parks and Rec.
I mean, there's a lot of parks and a lot of rec as the antelope are doing calisthenics running across the plains or whatever.
How about you, Sean?
Oh, no. I don't have any plugs right now.
You got nothing?
Awesome.
You haven't liked anything you've been watching
I
lately?
do, but I wasn't thinking about the question. I wasn't like preparing while you were giving your plug, and I'm just like,
What have you been watching lately, Sean, that you like?
There's a few animes. There's a really feel good one. My Hero Academia. If you enjoy
I
anime.
have been told it's good. I don't watch anime. My brother gets annoyed at me for not watching anime. But I do remember, I think it was our drunk Christmas episode, he did plug, I think, anime in general. It was a very weird... I don't remember that episode. I think I was hungover when I edited it. So, but yes, I do appreciate anime. It's pretty amazing. That industry is fascinating.
Yeah, for sure. I just started watching Little Witch Academia, which Alex and Zach have recommended to me extensively. And I've only watched an episode or two, but as far as I can tell, it is the exact plot of Harry Potter, but it's just all girls in an anime.
Oh, I love it. I'm going to plug two, a TV show and a movie today, just because I have been consuming a lot of content since testing positive the other day as of recording for podcasts. But I am going to plug the TV series Superstore. It is hilarious. There's been a couple of nights where I've been lying in bed. I've set up my monitor to be on my bedside table so I can watch while in bed. And I've just been giggling to the point where I've almost stopped breathing. I've had to pause it to like let myself continue giggling and like calm down a little bit to continue watching it. The physical comedy in it is quite hilarious. And just, it reminds me of Parks and Rec, but a little bit more cynical, and in a Walmart kind of setting. It's funny.
Nice.
The cutscenes are some of my favorites. And the other one I'm going to plug is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It is
classic.
so good. Just some simple British stupid humor. I love it. It's amazing.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast. I've really enjoyed chatting about this really interesting life decision. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you for listening to Content and Capable. You can follow the podcast socials at Content, the letter N, Capable on Instagram and Twitter. You can send an email to contentandcapablepod@gmail.com. Please give us a review on iTunes or Spotify to help others know that you love this podcast. The art was done by Opia. You can follow them at opia_art_. Opia is spelled O-P-I-A. Feel free to message them about making art for your project. Our music was written, recorded, and edited by Isabel Strauss-Reeds. You can find Izzy at Kane_I, that's I is in the body part, on Instagram and Twitter, and on YouTube at KaneI with no spaces. Feel free to message her about making music for your project or editing your podcast. Content and Capable is proud to be a part of the Movie Night Crew Network, which features Of the Oldest Gods, a chapter-by-chapter Rick Riordan pod full of myths and legends.
If you're listening to this, you also ignored the warnings of reading the Percy Jackson books.
Now that the monsters are after you, it'd be a good idea to come to Camp Half-Blood.
But more importantly than that,
You should listen to Of the Oldest Gods, a Rick Riordan read-along podcast.
join us as we talk about some semi-fucked-up history and mythology relating to each chapter.
As we reread the original Percy Jackson series again while trying to stay spoiler-free.
Or so help us, Zeus may curse the pod again.
Episodes out every Thursday wherever you get your podcasts.
Content and Capable is a podcast all about answering the question, how do you adult? Don't forget to rate and review, and I will see you next Monday for another episode.
That movie sucked. I kind of liked it.
Movie Night Crew Network.
And that's what I'm talking about. Literally every podcast I ever record ever, at the end, my brain is like,